In this first problem, it is given that mod of vector A plus vector B equal to mod of vector A plus mod of vector B. Then the angle between A and B will be. There are four different options given. Let us see all the four different options. So in this first option, you can see the 90-degree angle is there, and for any sort of vectors which are at 90 degree, the resultant will be like this, and this is not equal to, the magnitude of resultant is not equal to the magnitudes of these two. So same thing happens with the 120-degree angle also and 60-degree angle also. The magnitude is not equal to the magnitude of the input vectors, that is vector A and vector B. But for 0-degree angle, the magnitude of two different input vectors is equal to the magnitude of the resultant vector. So vector A plus vector B is the resultant vector. So option C is correct. In this next problem, it is given that a particle is moving such that its position coordinates x and y are 2 meter, 3 meter at time t equal to 0. Let us see the graph for this. The first position is 2 meter and 3 meter. So particle is at this position at time t equal to 0. At time t equal to 2 seconds, the particle is at 6 meters, 7 meters. So this point is somewhere here. And after that, the particle is at 13 meters and 14 meters at time t equal to 5 seconds. So particle started from this point and goes up to this point. So average velocity vector from t equal to 0 to t equal to 5 seconds is, we need to find out average velocity vector. You should remember the definition for average velocity, that is equal to displacement upon time. In 5 seconds, total displacement is from this point to this point. So we are interested to find out this total vector or change in position. So this total change in position can be found by using this formula, because it is the vector passing through two different points. So this is the formula which is taken here. So total displacement is x2 minus x1, that is x2 is 13 and x1 is 2. So 13 minus 2 I, and y2 is 14, y1 is 3. So 14 minus 3 j. It becomes 11I plus 11j. Here total displacement is this. We need to find out average velocity. To find out average velocity, definition is this. We will use this definition, and this definition indicates that displacement divided by time. So this is the displacement, time is 5 seconds. So it will give L1 by 5 into bracket I plus j. Here L1 is common from this vector. So option D is correct. In this next problem, it is given that a particle has initial velocity 2I plus 3j. That means initial velocity is given, that is 2I plus 3j, and acceleration is given, that is 0.3I plus 0.2j. So, and the magnitude of velocity after 10 seconds will be. So time is also given, that is t equal to 10 seconds. We need to find out the velocity after 10 seconds. That means we can use the equation of motion for accelerated motions. The first equation of motion is suitable here because we know initial velocity, acceleration and time. We need to find out the final velocity. So we will use this equation, and to convert this equation we will use the vector form of this equation. So it is vector v equal to vector v0 plus vector at. By putting the known values, we can write v0 is 2I plus 3j plus 0.3I plus 0.2j multiplied by 10. If you solve this, it will become 3I plus 5j. This 3I and 2I will become 5I plus this 3j and 2j will become again 5j. So velocity equal to 5I plus 5j is the total velocity vector after 10 seconds. To find out magnitude of this vector, because the options are given in terms of magnitude, we need to take the square root of a square plus b square. So it is 5 square plus 5 square, and the square root of this thing will be 5 root 2. So the answer B is correct answer. This next problem is quite similar to the previous problem, only the values for velocity and acceleration are different. Here initial velocity vector is 3I plus 4j and acceleration is 0.4I plus 0.3j. We need to find out speed after 10 seconds. So using same equation of motion, we can write this particular equation. If you solve this, it will become 4I plus 3j, and this 3I plus 4I will become 7I. This 4j plus 3j will become 7j. So this velocity vector is 7I plus 7j. If you take the magnitude for this, you need to take the square root of a square plus b square, that is 7 square plus 7 square. So square root of 98 is nothing but the 7 root 2. So option B is correct. In next problem, it is given that a body is moving with velocity 30 meter per second towards east. Let us see the diagram for this. This is north, this is east. So the velocity is 30 meters per second towards east. Let us indicate that velocity vector. And after 10 seconds, its velocity becomes 40 meter per second towards north. After 10 seconds, it goes towards north with a velocity of 40 meter per second. Because this is in positive x direction, the I is used. This is in positive y direction, that is why that j is used. Here, the average acceleration of the body is to be calculated. From our equation of motion or acceleration formula, we know that the average acceleration is final velocity minus initial velocity divided by time. Here final velocity is this and initial velocity is this. So we will use this formula here in the vectorial format by applying vector notation. So to find out acceleration vector, here V2, to find out acceleration, we will put the known values. Final velocity is 40j and initial velocity is 30I. So 40j minus 30I divided by time t equal to 10 seconds, that is why divided by 10. So this becomes acceleration equal to 4j minus 3I, because 10 will divide to both the terms. For magnitude of this vector, we can calculate by using the Pythagoras theorem, that is square root of a square plus b square is the magnitude of any vector. So mod of a will be equal to, or the magnitude of a will be equal to square root of 16 plus 9, that is equal to square root of 25, and it becomes 5 meter per second square. So correct answer for this question is option D. Next problem. A person reached to exactly opposite point on the bank of a stream. That means a person is moving in flowing stream. Let us assume that the direction for flowing stream is this. He reaches exactly opposite point on the bank. That means he is moving perpendicular to the bank. But this movement is the output of two different vectors. One is the swimming direction and other one is the river flow. Let us see what is given next. A person is swimming with a speed of 0.5 meter per second at an angle of 120 degree with the direction of the flow of water. It is given in the statement that the swimmer swims in the direction at an angle of 120 degree with the direction of the flow of water. So we will measure the 120 degree angle from the direction of the flow of water. So this is the direction of the flow of water. So starting with 0 angle. So initially this is 0 angle. Somewhere here it will be 45 degrees angle. Somewhere here it is 90 degrees angle, and 120 degree angle will be this one. So you should measure the angle from the velocity of the river flow. This is the flow of the direction of flow of the water. We will measure 120 degree to the from this direction. So it will become this direction. This is the direction for swimmer. He is swimming in this direction and the river flow is in this direction. Because of addition of these two vectors, the net resultant is in this direction, that is perpendicular to the stream. Let us rearrange these vectors, we will get this. So value of this river flow should be such that the swimmer will come back to straight or the perpendicular direction automatically, even if he is swimming in this direction. So we know the swimmer's velocity is 0.5 meter per second. So this vector is given. Because this angle is 90 degree and total angle is 120 degree, this small angle will be 30 degrees. And in right angle triangle, the side in front of the 30 degree angle is half of the hypotenuse. Here hypotenuse is 0.5 meter per second. So the opposite side of the 30 degree angle will become half of this, that is equal to 0.25 meter per second.
So option A is correct.
Next problem, the width of the river is 1 kilometer. So this width is 1 kilometer. The velocity of the boat is 5 km per hour. It crosses a river in shortest possible path. So shortest possible path is this, perpendicular to the river, that is 1 kilometer. The time required to do this travel is t equal to 15 minutes. If you convert it into hours, it will be 1/4 hours. And this is the outcome of two different vectors. One is the velocity of the boat and other one is the velocity of the river. Imagine that this boat is traveling in the straight line and the river speed is acting in this direction. In this case, what will happen? The boat will shift its direction along the direction of the river because of the force of the water, and this will not remain in the straight line, it will go in this direction. To keep it going in the straight line, the boat should move in the opposite direction of the river, so that because of application of the force, this will come back to straight line. If it is trying to go in this direction, then it will come back to the straight line and it will go straight. So velocity of the boat should be such that the output should be in the direction which is perpendicular to the direction of the flow of the river. We have the distance for the resultant and time for the resultant. Distance for the resultant is 1 kilometer, time is the 1/4 hours. So the net resultant velocity can be calculated. By putting the values, it will become 4 km per hour. So this is the resultant velocity that is calculated. Also velocity of the boat is given, that is equal to 5 km per hour. But velocity of the boat should be in the opposite direction of the, so that it will come automatically to the perpendicular direction. So this is velocity vector for river flow, river stream, and this is the velocity for boat. By translating this vector, the value for VRS should be such that the velocity for the boat will be perpendicular to the velocity of the stream. So by using Pythagoras theorem, this is 5 km per hour, this is 4 km per hour. By using Pythagoras theorem, we can find out that VR is equal to 3 km per hour. So correct option is C, 3 km per hour. A missile is fired for maximum range with an initial velocity of 20 meter per second. So what is given? We can see here the initial velocity of the projection is given, that is equal to 20 meter per second, and for maximum range is given. For maximum range, what is the condition? That is theta should be equal to 45 degrees. That means indirectly theta is also given, that is 45 degrees. G equal to 10 meter per second square. That means acceleration due to gravity is also given. The range of the missile is. That means we need to find out range of the missile. If you want to find out the range, you should use this formula, that R is equal to V0 square sin 2 theta by G. So theta is 45 degrees, and if you put 45 degrees over here, this becomes sin 90, and sin 90 will be equal to 1. So by putting V0 equal to 20 and G equal to 10, we will get 400 by 10 must be equal to 40 meters. That means this missile will reach up to the distance of 40 meters. So correct option is A. Next problem. The horizontal range and maximum height of the projectile are equal. The angle of the projection of the projectile is. That means maximum height and the horizontal range are given to be equal. That means we can directly equate these two formulae. that maximum height must be equal to range. So by equating these two formulae, we can write V0 square sin 2 theta by g equal to V0 square sin square theta by 2g. So in this equation, this V0 square and V0 square will get cancelled, whereas this g and this g will get cancelled. Here you can see this. Now let us expand this. Sin 2 theta equal to 2 sin theta into cos theta, and this term will remain as it is, sin square theta by 2. In this, now sin theta will get cancelled with the sin square theta, and this becomes 4 equal to sin theta by cos theta. This is nothing but tan theta equal to 4, and theta will be equal to tan inverse of 4. So option B is correct. Next problem, a projectile is fired at an angle of 45 degrees to the horizontal. So let us see the diagram for this. A projectile is fired at an angle of 45 degrees to the horizontal. Elevation angle of the projectile at the highest point as seen from the point of projection is. That means you need to find out elevation angle at highest point of the projection. So in this projection, this will have a parabolic path, and the highest point will be somewhere here, like this. The meaning of elevation angle is that it is given that as seen from the point of the projection. That means this is the point of the projection and this is the point of maximum height. So connect these two different points with a straight line, and this angle you need to find out, that is the elevation angle. So to find out this angle, so in this shaded triangle you can see that we can find out tan phi equal to height divided by range by 2. So in shaded triangle, tan phi will be equal to height of the projectile divided by range by 2, because this is the total range and this distance will be the half of the range. Angle of projection is 45 degrees, and for 45 degrees we can take range to be the maximum. Here you can see that R max is V square by G and H max is V0 square sin square theta divided by 2G. So let us use these two values in this formula. Here V0 square and V0 square will get cancelled, and this 2G and this 2G will get cancelled. This ultimately becomes sin square theta, and theta is given equal to 45 degrees. So it becomes sin square 45. Sin 45 is 1 by root 2, sin square 45 will become 1 by 2. This is nothing but tan phi equal to 1 by 2 and phi will be equal to tan inverse of 1 by 2. So option C is correct. Next problem, for angle of projectile at an angle of 45 degree minus theta and 45 degree plus theta. That means here two different projectile angles are given. Let us put theta equal to 15 degrees. So we will get two different angles of projection. One is 30 degree and other one will be 60 degree. For two different angles, we will find out two different ranges, and for these two different ranges, we will take the ratio of the range so that you will get the correct option. So range formula is V0 square sin 2 theta by G. So to find out R1, we will put 30 degree angle, so it becomes sin 60. And for R2, this angle becomes 120. So R2 will be equal to V0 square sin 120 divided by G. Now let us take the ratio of R1 and R2, because that is the thing that we need to find out. The horizontal range described by the projectile are in the ratio of, that means we need to find out ratio. So R1 by R2 will be equal to sin 60 divided by sin 120, because V square by G will get cancelled from both the sides. Sin 120 is nothing but cos 30, and both are equal to root 3 by 2. That is why the ranges will become 1:1. So correct answer will be option B. In the same fashion, one more question was asked, that is, two projectiles of same mass and same velocity are thrown at an angle of 60 degree and 30 degree. Then which will remain same? As we have seen earlier, the correct answer is range is same, but whether the time of the flight will be same or maximum height will be same? No, because here angle is nearly about 60 degrees and here angle is nearly about 30 degrees. In this case, the height will be more for this case as compared to this, and time of the flight will also be more in this case if it is compared with this. So time of the flight and maximum height are different, whereas range of the projectile is same. So here correct option will be B. Next question, the velocity of a particle at the initial point A is 2I plus 3j. So this diagram is given in the question. At this point the velocity is given, that is 2I plus 3j. So x component is going to be 2I. Here you can see. So x component is 2I and y component is 3j. Its velocity at point B is, at point B you should understand that vertical component is going to be in the negative y direction, that will be equal to minus 3j, and horizontal component remains constant. So the correct answer will be 2I minus 3j, that is option number A. In this problem it is given that a particle moves so that its position vector is given by vector r equal to cos omega t x plus sin omega t y. So this is the same form as we have seen for position vector. Just by looking at this equation, one should understand that this is the equation for circular motion. Next it is given that where omega is constant, that means it is a clear case of uniform circular motion. For uniform circular motion, which of the following is true? So out of these four options, which one is true, we need to find out. In option A it is given that velocity is perpendicular to vector r. So this is true, and acceleration is directed towards the origin. In case of uniform circular motion, acceleration is always directed towards the origin. So both the sentences are true in case of option A. So this must be correct. If you look into the option B, it is given that velocity is perpendicular to r and acceleration is directed away from the origin. So this is not correct. Velocity and acceleration both are perpendicular to r. So this is also not correct. In case of circular motion, acceleration is towards the center. That is why the direction for the object keeps on changing. Velocity and acceleration both are parallel to r. So this is also not true. Option D says that velocity and acceleration both are parallel to r. So in this case, velocity and acceleration both are in the same direction, and in this case object will move away from the center. So that is not the case. The object is moving in the circular direction. So B, C, D, all these three options are not true, and only option A is true. That is why option A is correct answer. In this problem it is given that a particle moves in xy plane according to rule x equal to a sin omega t and y equal to a cos omega t. The particle follows. Obviously x and y coordinates are given in terms of a sin omega t and a cos omega t. This resembles our equation of position vector. Correct answer should be a circular path, not elliptical, not parabolic, or not straight line also. So option B is correct. But to prove this, we can use these two equations, that is x equal to a sin omega t and second equation is y equal to a cos omega t. If you square these two equations and add, you will get x square plus y square equal to a square, and sin square omega t plus cos square omega t becomes 1. Here this particular equation is the equation for circle. That is why we can say that the object is traveling along the circular path. So option B is correct. Next problem is a particle moves in circle of radius 5 cm. So given data is the particle is rotating along a circle and radius is equal to 5 cm. This can be written in meters equal to 0.05 meters with constant speed. This is a case of uniform circular motion and time period is 0.25 seconds. So next thing which is given is the time period. Time period is nothing but the time required to complete one circle, and that is equal to 0.25 seconds. So time period equal to 0.25 seconds is given. The acceleration of the particle is, so in uniform circular motion, as we know, the acceleration is required to change the direction, and that is always towards the center, and that is known as centripetal acceleration. We need to find out the centripetal acceleration. For that we need to find out the angular velocity, where theta for one revolution will be equal to 2 pi and time period for one revolution is given. That means we can use this formula to find out omega by using theta by t. So theta for one revolution is given and time for one revolution is given, that is 2 pi by 0.2 pi, and this omega will be equal to 10 radian per second. We will use this formula, that is centripetal acceleration will be equal to r omega square. So r is 0.05 multiplied by 10 into 10. If you solve this, you will get 5 meter per second square, and option C is correct. Next problem, a stone tied to the end of the string of 1 meter long is whirled in horizontal circle with constant speed. So radius is given and constant speed, that is uniform circular motion, is given. If the stone makes 22 revolutions in 44 seconds, so total theta is also given, time for that theta is also given. What is the magnitude and direction of the acceleration of the stone? In case of uniform circular motion, you know that direction for acceleration is always towards the center. Only we need to find out the magnitude for the acceleration, that is r omega square. Here radius is 1 meters, and to find out omega we can write theta by t. So it becomes 1 into theta by t multiplied by theta by t. So theta for 22 revolutions will be equal to 2 pi into 22, because for 1 revolution theta is 2 pi. For 22 revolutions theta will be equal to 2 pi into 22, and time is also given, that is 44 seconds. If you use these two values in this equation, you will get 22 into 2 pi divided by 44. So 44 will get cancelled and only pi remains. So pi multiplied by pi becomes pi square. In 3 different options pi square is given. Only you need to think about the direction. For uniform circular motion, direction is always towards the center. So radius, direction along the radius towards the center is the correct option. Option A is correct. Next problem, a particle moves along a circle of radius 20 by pi meters with a constant tangential acceleration. That means this is the case of tangential acceleration and the radius is given. So r equal to 20 by pi meters, that is radius. In next statement it is given that if the velocity of the particle is 80 meter per second at the end of the second revolution after motion has begun. So velocity at the end of the second revolution is 80 meter per second. In circular motion we have the formula v2 equal to r omega 2. So we can find out omega 2 now. So to find out omega 2 we will use v2 by r, where v2 is 80 meter per second and r is 20 by pi. So if you calculate this you will get 4 pi. It is also given that after motion has begun, that means at the start point omega will be 0, that is angular velocity will be 0. We need to find out tangential acceleration. For 2 revolutions total displacement will be equal to 2 into 2 pi. To find out tangential acceleration we can use the equation of motion. Because we know initial angular velocity, final angular velocity and displacement, we can use the equation of motion for accelerated circular motion. Here it is omega 2 square equal to omega 1 square plus 2 alpha theta. This equation is quite similar to the second equation of accelerated linear motion. So to find out tangential acceleration we will put all these values in this equation. Here omega 2 is 4 pi. So 4 pi square, omega 1 is 0, so this term becomes 0, is equal to 2 alpha into 2 pi. So if you calculate this you will get alpha equal to 2 pi. So this is the angular acceleration that we have calculated. We need to find out tangential acceleration, that is equal to r into alpha. Now we have calculated alpha value and r value is already given. So we will use 2 different values in this equation. You will get 20 by pi into 2 pi. So pi will get cancelled and it becomes 40 meter per second square. So total tangential acceleration is 40 meter per second square. So correct option is A. Next problem, the position vector of a particle vector r as a function of time is given by vector r equal to 4 sin 2 pi t I plus 4 cos 2 pi t j. So this is the form of the position vector for circular motion. So this is a clear case of uniform circular motion where r is in meters, t is in seconds and I and j denote unit vectors along x and y directions respectively. Which one of the following statement is wrong for the motion of a particle? So you need to find out the wrong statement. In option A it is given that magnitude of the velocity of the particle is 8 meter per second. You need to verify this particular magnitude. Without calculating we can directly find out r omega. If you compare this particular equation with this, you can find out that omega equal to 2 pi. In this equation omega is 2 pi and r is 4. linear velocity formula v equal to r omega. Here r is 4, omega is 2 pi. If you multiply these two, you will get the magnitude for velocity. So it is equal to 8 pi, not only 8. So this option A itself is wrong, and we need to find out which one of the following statement is wrong. So option A is the correct answer because it is wrong. The magnitude of the velocity is 4 into 2 pi, that is 8 pi. All these three remaining options are correct. You can verify it. So option A is correct option.